At SAE, it's always been about the future. We were there as brilliant minds mastered flight. We were also there as Henry Ford dreamed up the Model T. In fact, we've always been a part of the amazing world of mobility engineering. As with all great mobility advancements, science, technology, engineering, and math power the future of discovery and innovation. Beyond our leadership in the field, SAE offers equitable access to STEM education and programming for students. SAE's STEM education programming is building the workforce development pipeline of tomorrow, today. To invest in our young learners and our communities, we offer immersive STEM experience for all students, from preschool through college. Our A World in Motion program brings STEM to life, setting young learners on a lifelong journey of curiosity and discovery. Students grow their STEM skills such as computer programming and cybersecurity, as well as the engineering design experience. At the university level, our collegiate design series challenges students to solve complex, real-world problems by enabling them to design, build, and test the performance of real vehicles. Through our emerging technology series, student teams also have a chance to think critically to develop conceptual solutions to crucial, next-generation technology issues. Investing in our young learners propels our local and global communities. And at SAE, it's always been about the future.
Hello, everyone. This is Mark Zachos. I'm president of DG Technologies, and welcome to another episode of Supercharged. We have today Allison Hostetler as our guest. Allison is a pre-professional education director with SAE International. She's going to be talking about World in Motion and the Collegiate Design Series, and boy, all these other STEM programs that you've heard about, I'm sure. I hope you've heard about. And boy, how does that all work in this virtual COVID world? So welcome, Allison. How do you do?
Thank you, Mark. Hello. So hello, SAE. It's great to be with you today. I'm the Director of Pre-Professional Education, as Mark mentioned, so I get to oversee our continuum of pre-K through collegiate education programs. It has been quite a year. As anyone that has picked up a newspaper or anything on, social media can see, higher education and all education has kind of been flipped on its head a little bit in the past year. I'm very blessed to work with a team who is innovative and has recognized kind of a digital pivot to be able to still deliver high quality programs for the 2020 and 2021 school years.
One of the things that I'd like to bring you to here and is for our audience benefit, your programs run from elementary school, first grade, second grade, all the way up to the people in college that and in this great slide, I love this, how to connect, and you see there on the left side, and then looks like my daughter back in middle school when she was working on one of those projects, all the way through college, and working on the real deal. Looks like that young lady's on autonomous vehicle project. And way to the right there, there's an older gentleman with a beard, and he's kind of giving back, right? That's kind of the circle of your STEM education world. Can you tell us a little bit how that works from end to end, please?
Sure. So as I mentioned, although we have many programs in our portfolio at different age ranges, they all have the same basic principles, and we all kind of follow the engineering design cycle, where we like to go through. We love the hands-on stuff. It's the best way to teach students to be able to be excited about the project. I mean, every single student in this project, they're excited. They get to see their project come to fruition. They get to watch it run or not run in some cases, which is also a great learning opportunity as well. And so what we really like to encourage is continuation of that hands-on, even as we come into new products and be able to move forward. As you mentioned, we have autonomous vehicles that are moving forward now. And so we're really changing to match the mobility industry as well.
I did participate, as I was telling you, as a volunteer in the elementary school, and brought a program, AWIM program, into my daughter's middle school. And oh, by the way, she's in college now studying computer engineering. So it kind of works, I guess. But you know, what I really noticed is the young people, they really bond, they really connect with the mentor, the volunteer mentor that comes into the classroom, and you know, that's the first engineer they've seen in their whole lives, maybe, I don't know. And how does that work though with the virtual world? Because that seems like that's a huge part of the opportunity to bond and connect with folks.
It really was. And honestly, that was one of the first things we did not want to lose in the season. To a virtual delivery of all of our programs, it's very important for us to put those people. We have such a unique connected opportunity of alumni that come from our programs all the way up through just regular volunteers who come into classrooms and to do things. And so we pivoted a little bit on our SAE STEM at Home page. So we actually, in some of the pivots, we developed some at-home resources and digital resources. We actually have a Meet the Engineer series so that we could keep that going, where we tap some of our key volunteers and those interested to be able to do a great video. Our SAE STEM at Home actually just won an award as well. So if you're interested, it's sae.org/learn education STEM at home. Very proud to be the Cool Tool winner of 2021 from EdTech Awards. And EdTech is the largest and most competitive recognition program for all education technology. And so this recognizes the biggest names in EdTech. And we were actually chosen this year as one of the Cool Tool winners for our 2021. Again, the important thing was to keep that engagement. So we put up the videos from Meet the Engineer. We have our books that can be read aloud. We have small at-home activities. And so teachers can use this in the classroom. You can use it at a hybrid model. Parents can even use this. This is a great opportunity as they've kind of become some teachers this year. To a brand new role of being at home.
Yeah. How do you, speaking of connections then, how do you kind of gauge so congratulations on this great award, by the way. Back after the graduation, back after they get their, go through the program and the student becomes an engineer, and how do you know that it all works? I mean, it's kind of a feeling, it's kind of a flavor. I outline my thoughts with my daughters, like, well, you know, yeah, I'll do it, Dad, because you told me to, but I think her passion came from a program like this. Is there any way to understand that it really does work? I know the awards are great, but can you share with us some really a definitive example of how it really does work? I think that there are concrete examples, aren't there?
Absolutely. And as you mentioned before, we see this in our alumni base. We see this in people that go out into industry that start to work. And then all of a sudden we recognize a name and it's coming from a brand new supporting a CDS program, or they're back on a rules committee and now they're on the other side. So now they're building a rule set for students and trying to educate them. We have a really great alumni Facebook page for our collegiate design series where we reach out. We have a great network of volunteers and we really work with teachers in the classroom. So we've actually been embarking on some new data initiatives where we're collecting, and I believe our last study was 96% are excited and show excitement in their students in classrooms after doing the project. And it's a great, we have a lot of testimonials that come in that I could share that are shared actually on our website. If you go to the SAE STEM at Home, from just teachers who reached out and have really noticed a difference in their classroom and the activity level that students are participating in. They like the teaming effort, they like the hands-on, and so they really like to be as part of that. As you know, we're moving into a new space and we have a new mobility. And so what we can see here is how do we start to stay competitive in that space? And so we want to blend that hands-on learning with some digital activities. And so we will be launching here Navigating the Digital Universe, which is, I'm very proud to say, our first digital program. This will walk students through kind of the dangers and pitfalls of online social etiquette. this is something that's great to start students at. With now, you know, when you post something, it never goes away. So how do we start students with being very intentional about posting, with recognizing certain things that are unsafe on the internet? And so this is a really great way where we can take elementary students about how to engage with technology, and really in a responsible and positive way.
Mhm. Do you, in the collegiate series, this is working from the beginning to the of elementary through collegiate series. You know, you would figure that once you get to college, you know, you probably learn all of what you need to learn online, but that's not really true either. You always know that there's something new to learn. And I like the social aspect too. I always see myself sending out silly tweets, and I try to stop myself from doing that too.
Well, we thought it was really, and we actually pilot tested this, and we got a lot of really great feedback that said we'd love to expand this out even into middle school, or even as low as younger elementary, even at kindergarten, because of the resources and the technology that students are now being given, especially with the COVID pivot this year. So this is a really great program and opportunity to kind of start that positive digital world, and to really start students off at the right point instead of them kind of discovering themselves.
I have a question about, you know, the digital universe, of course, extends outside of the United States, and SAE is an international organization. How would this work in, you know, China or Europe or anywhere else in the world? Are you planning to expand that far? Is that in your plan?
Absolutely. So we actually do have some of our challenges we have been able to translate into different languages. Navigating the digital universe will start being based in North America, but we will be able to expand that out into different opportunities as they kind of arise through company support. We do have a lot of our majority of our challenges that can be translated. We actually are working through SAE China office right now, and putting in some programming through them as well.
Mm-hmm. Part of the work that you're doing is in different parts of the world, different programs, different age groups. And then finally, what happens is these groups of students, they're challenged, and they come together in a competition or a validation event, I guess is what you call it, which is, I like that word. I had to learn that. And typically those are face-to-face and hands-on, and you know, you run them at Michigan International Speedway here in southern part of Michigan, or somewhere in California, or places like that. You couldn't do that last year, could you? There was nothing at all available. And
no, so we actually, when the pandemic had hit, we had actually had some staff members that were currently at 2 of our events. So we were able to host our Clean Snowmobile Challenge in 2020 and one of our design competitions in Florida. I think a week or a few days before the world kind of shut down and we stopped.
Right.
And it was a very, very hard time for our staff and our students and our key volunteers, where we had to pivot very quickly. You know, our programs run an academic year. Some of our students use this as a senior design project, and we didn't want to let them down. So we made the conscious decision to move to a virtual delivery in 2020, fully virtual delivery in 2020, knowing that we would hopefully be able to get back to some type of hybrid model heading into 2021. I'm very proud to say we learned a lot about digital events, as I'm sure everybody did, and Zooming and different things that they had. And so we were able to really build out and at least deliver our static presentations in 2020. And so for 2020, we had students compete in their sales or design presentations, and we had them kind of go through all of those in our different series of ones we could not deliver on site. So the nice thing about 2021 is we had a little bit of a time to vet a few platforms, learn how to really handle the bulk and the large amount of student presentations when you have a lot of teams. And so this year in 2021, not knowing kind of how maybe the world would be heading into the spring, we made a conscious decision to split our events. Typically, you would register for an event in the fall. You would compete in static presentations and be able to dynamic events on site all in 1 week, basically.
Mhm.
And so we split these. And so we were able to put into our knowledge event, which is our virtual platform and virtual delivery. And so our series were moved for presentations. So we had design and sales and cost presentations that would go on here. It was kind of nice where we actually were able to solicit volunteers from across the geographic area. So if you didn't live in a particular area, you couldn't take time off of work, this gave an opportunity that was location neutral, that you could still give back or still participate as you were at home. We are hosting a very smaller schedule than we're typically normal and used to. But in 2021, we are going to host 2 Baja events. Now, these are smaller events. We will have less teams on site and obviously follow all risk mitigations and protocols and as designated by the CDC, state and local, but just to be able to get students back on site. Because I think you really hit on it, Mark, when you talked about the excitement and you talked about the teaming and the collaboration, and there's just no replacement for that. It's such a wonderful piece of what we do. And to bring it all together and to have students present and then have an awards and to really showcase and validate. We chose validation events so that they could come and show their project. They've been working on this in some cases for 2 years if they moved into a 2-year build for the past 2 years, and they're in their lab spaces 2 at a time sometimes just to safe. So it's very exciting for us to be able to give something to students and to volunteers and our industry partners this year to be able to really show them what we can do.
One of the advantages I would imagine with the, especially the collegiate design series, is I know the continuity between teams, between graduates, and then they're coming back and they're leaving documentation and artifacts for the next group coming in and so on. Maybe the virtual platform is something that actually helps facilitate that, and also for mentors coming back to parents, right? The parents really need to be a big part of this, and sometimes that's a challenge in the busy world that we're living in. We're Zooming from, first thing in the morning to late at night. Some of the professionals are parents, they're talking overseas or whatever to their clients. So the idea with these virtual tools at your convenience here, I think actually could be a bigger advantage in the end. We've learned a lot.
We've learned a lot. Absolutely. I think in the case of all pre-K up through collegiate education, we've learned a lot. Students get kind of burnout as well when their classes are online. So in the spring, when we started to see universities kind of do a hybrid model, very similar, or have some classes, I think that was a benefit. I know a lot of our students that had a lab, they were able to get back on site to be in the lab. So I think that was really great for them to do. I will say I had the privilege of sitting in on some of the Formula SAE sales presentations, and they ranged from really, all of them were well done, but some of them, they had their school in the background, they were in their lab, they were social distance where they had, they were wonderful. And it was kind of a testament to the way the industry is changing as well, that this might be a new delivery system. You may be continuing to do some virtual work. We've learned a lot about working and being remote. And so if this is part of yours, then we're just building that next workforce development as well through the means that they'll be using in industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed. And with Zoom and virtual, again, I'll use my daughter as a working example here, is that when she was going to campus and going to classes, you couldn't, you had to get up at 9 in the morning and go, but now they're all online, or most all of them are recorded. So, in the middle of the night, we hear her get up and, turn on the headsets and go to class, and it works for her. And it's really cool to see the opportunities for the different types of learning, different types of opportunities to bring and deliver these sorts of content to our next generation of engineers.
I think that your term would be flexibility. We want to be able to offer flexibility in delivery to all of our participants, whether it's in industry to be able to volunteer and do a Meet the Engineer video. It's parents who are looking for an activity. It's students or teachers who have students in a classroom and remotely, if they could use our SAE STEM at home to be able to do a project that connects them. even if they're over Zoom or using the website, that's an excellent ability. And so I think just being flexible in the way that we can offer it, and really being able to show the value of our programs and how they can help you. We don't want to be an extra piece. We want to be helpful to that teacher. We want to be able to have them be excited and get their students excited about STEM. And Collegiate Design Series, very same way. We want students to be able to build and to be able to put forth those projects that they're able to showcase at the end. That's a huge feat and a great milestone. And our industry partners, they love to come to the events, and they get recruited and hired to go work for them. Then they can come back and volunteer for us, we hope. So we hope to continue that cyclical pattern with them and to get them involved.
So I've got maybe one or two more questions before we wrap up. As a volunteer, how do you get really engaged? How do you do what you used to do or want to do now in a virtual world? Is you just go to the awim.org website, click there and get started, or do you have workshops or some way that you can reach out to the local community? Maybe what we're doing today with the SAE Detroit section. How can we help you all do what you do?
So we do have for our different, I'll start with Collegiate Design Series. So we actually do have different volunteer websites. So if you email, and I believe Stephanie, we have a slide that has the Collegiate Design Series email on it. We're happy to point you towards opportunities. We always need presentation judges or on-site judges and different opportunities. And for the AWIM side, very much the same. We offer trainings for any of the volunteers that would be going into a classroom. We have the virtual presentations and Meet the Engineer videos if people are interested in those. We actually use the SAE Propel system as well. We put all of our volunteer opportunities through the SAE Propel system, which is run by our SAE membership department, to do an outreach to volunteers, to sections, to different professionals in the field. So we're really collaborating on bringing in from all parts of the organization to get people to come back and give back, and we're happy to have them.
And it doesn't come for free. So let me just ask you, I know that's not part of your business, but everybody says, okay, it's the SAE Foundation does A1, you know, there is a separation there. And we'll talk about that in a future Supercharged event here. But what's the difference between what you do and the SAE Foundation?
So we're the programming side. We have the really great task of building something that they can go out and promote and that they can sell. And they've done a fabulous job this year with all the pivots and all the changes and all of the reaching out. The SAE Foundation has just been wonderful this year, and we're really excited to give them some new opportunities of programs with pre-K. Our pre-K curriculum will be launching coming up here in the next few months, as well as Digital Universe. So to be able to give them new programming to go out to industry to show how we're changing with the mobility industry to meet the needs, it's been really excellent for us to be able to pair and to work together. Although we are kind of separate entities, we do typically work very closely together and just work on different initiatives and different industry outreach throughout the organization. So we work together and very much in tandem.
Well, there's certainly individuals that contribute, as well as here in the Detroit area, we have major corporations, companies big and small, and everybody should be thanked for whatever they can do, either on a volunteer basis or contributing funding for this great program. And really want to thank you and your colleagues. Keep everybody safe there in the virtual world. You know, we'll get there. We'll get back. So to wrap up today, we have some contact details here that we'll share with you. If you have any other information that you'd like to just shoot an email out to, or go to the website. There's the SAE Foundation there. They're very much part of the integrated SAE International. You can connect with the great people there. The SAE Detroit section, the events, and of course with Allison, the other contacts there that you provided us. So please reach out to us if you have any other questions. We thank you for your time today.
It's still one of my earliest memories of me wanting to be an engineer. I've kept my AWIM card from 5th grade for all these years, and it still sits in a glass case on my desk to this day. It means so much to me. It's a simple reminder as to why I was inspired to pursue automotive engineering. My name's John Lloyd. I am now a AWIM graduate and soon to be Kettering graduate, where I was a Formula SAE team captain for 3 seasons. When I was in 4th and 5th grade, I was already into cars. So when I was introduced to the AWIM program, I was beyond excited. Upon coming into a world of motion, I was interested in STEM, but I didn't know what about STEM I was interested in. So essentially, a world of motion put me on the path to be an automotive engineer. I then partook in SAE's Collegiate Design Series, where I eventually became team captain of Kettering's Formula SAE team. One of the greatest strengths of the Formula SAE was giving students a chance to take a design from something drawn on a computer screen to something that exists in real life. It's such a good learning experience for college students, especially when they're pursuing a degree in engineering. The concepts they learn in CDS are an easy transition when going into the real world. To inspire younger generations now will mean so much in the future when STEM essentially moves the world.